pickup place. You know that, James?
Oh, that's cute.
Come on. Do you think it's safe?
We'll be fine. Come on. Anybody home?
Kids best be getting out of here while you still can.
We have to go. Let's start running.
We're never gonna get out alive.
Gruesome Herzog, my very special guest. It's a long time awaited. It's actor-producer Ace Marrero. How you doing, Ace?
Good. Long awaited. Wow, I like that.
Oh, yeah, long awaited. You know, I went through the list. You know, I went to Matt Mercer and Coley Bailey. Now it's your turn. But
Wait, Coley Bailey? No, you mean Collie Berry. Collie Berry is what I think you referred to him in Matt's interview. Let's not get it twisted. That's what you called him. I think you had Matt stumped for about half of your interview there because you mentioned Coley Berry and I could hear him just sort of quiet down. I think it's because he was looking confused.
Hey, you know what?
I was surprised that Coley didn't bring it up during your guys' interview. He's a gentleman. Because yes. I would have been all over that ass.
You know what? It's funny. You know, yeah. I like to try and throw stuff by people, and well, it worked. But
that's good. That's good. Well, I was there, and I'm a close listener, and I think it's been a good little laugh for all of us of the Madison County crew. But Coley's a good sport.
He's a good guy too. Yeah, he's fun. But anyway,
speaking of, actually, I have to ask you just because
I will slide off the table a little bit and do little other things to give other listeners that who also like other things but horror can get something, you know. Anyways, the first movie that I would like to talk about for the listeners to hear is I'm going to start with Office of the Dead in 2009. Now, obviously, it's not a zombie movie, but it's. I'll let you explain it to the listeners. Go ahead.
Sure. Actually, it is very much a zombie movie. It's
okay.
It was sort of pitched to me when I auditioned as I guess Night of the Living Dead meets The Office. But yeah, it's a group of software engineers who work for this company, and they developed some sort of I guess it's some sort of transmission or something that basically goes wrong, and then it starts turning people into zombies, and they're stuck inside this building as all hell's breaking loose within it, Oh
shit!
And I play one of the officers who comes in to sort of basically clean up everything. I come in and it's a quirky couple scenes that I'm in. Sort of get introduced to the cops that are there, and we basically take over everything, and I make it clear that we're going to go in and kill everything in sight, basically. Wow. But yeah, it's a cool film. I saw it a couple months ago. Actually, we had a screening for it in the Valley, and Matthew Chung, the writer, director, and producer of it. It's one of the first things I did when I came to LA. I mean, it's been 3 years, I guess, in the making already at this point, and yeah, he's been doing a great job of getting it out there, and he's got distribution for it, and I know shortly after I saw the screening, when Madison County was sort of going through the horror websites, I remember being on Fangoria, and I saw Office of the Dead. They had a nice little blurb up, so yeah, people are starting to get get their eyes on it, and they're starting to get some legs under it, from what I understand.
Well, as you probably might know, IMDb there's ratings in there by people who rate movies. Now, as you know, horror movies, there's a lot of horror haters, apparently, because every one that I see that I like, it's either a 1 or a 2 or a 3. But this one here, it's a 7.7 out of 10. So holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some stuff on Amazon too. I think the movie's up for sale there, and you kind of have to laugh at some posts because you never know if it's just filmmakers and their families or whatnot posting. But no, I mean, like you said, I think it's fun. It's a fun film. Like I said, he did a great job with it, and he spent a lot of time on it, and there's a lot of passion in it, and I mean, it played well when I saw it, and I was a fan.
I gotta check that out.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, well, then the next one, it's a short film. It's a 6-minute short, which as everybody knows, that I got hooked on the shorts now. One was sent to me. I won't mention the name of it because people are getting tired of me saying it all the time. But this was called The Nightlife in 2009. It's an action comedy, but there is some. It's a vampire one, so I'll let you explain it to the listeners.
Yeah. It's about a kid basically wakes up. It's clear that he's been he sort of had a nice night of partying, and just sort of wakes up, trashed, coming to, and then it's basically revealed that he's been bitten by a vampire, and obviously he's now a vampire himself, and obviously that's who I play. And yeah, I mean it's a cute little short. You meet basically another vampire. He's going up. He's getting hungry. Or in the short, I'm getting hungry, and I'm starting to sort of wear down, and I see this woman, and I track her to her house, and it's this big intense build and music and everything. You think I'm just gonna ravage her, and she turns around and sort of grabs me by the throat, and it's revealed she's a vampire as well, and then she basically takes me out and leads me to my first kill. But yeah, I think the first spot that we were accepted was Topanga Film Festival. I remember it was the first film festival that I had both attended and was lucky enough to have a film in, and
right.
It was received really well. Yeah, we did a great, it was great. Everyone, I think we were runner up on the audience, the audience choice, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's been making the rounds. I sort of lost track of all the little festivals that it's been in, but the director and writer Lee Arter, who's a good friend of mine now, and actually he helped us with. He was the editor of our promotional trailer for Madison County.
Okay.
So yeah, it's one of those good things. You meet people, and you do short films and student films, in hopes that you make relationships that last, and obviously you stay in touch and continue to do stuff. So it was a nice sort of. It was a nice sort of moment to be able to call to him and have him come in and help us out and in turn, just keep working together.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like I said, I mean, now is that available online somewhere? I'm sure. Vimeo or maybe.
Actually, you know what? I know for a while he didn't. We couldn't because it was going through the festival circuit.
Okay.
But I think now it is. I'll go ahead and send you a link to it. Now that you ask, I think I remember him posting on Facebook that he now put it up. But
okay.
Yeah, I'll look for that and I'll get it to you.
Okay. Well, speaking of another short film, it's a 15-minute short. I do sci-fi too. Like I tell everybody else, I grew up on sci-fi because my dad was a Star Trek, Star Wars fan, so I grew up the sci-fi era. But this is called The Internship in 2010.
Yeah, it's a fun film. When I moved here, I remember looking on Craigslist. It was, sort of before I even produced anything, but I guess it was one of the things that sort of just led me down that path. But I was looking on Craigslist, and I'd gone on, online, and I was just like, I just want to start finding people to sort of, just create my close-knit group of filmmakers. I was like, I'm an actor. I know a lot of people, a lot of talented actors, and then, directors and writers, but that was sort of it. I didn't know, all the other, all the other positions that obviously go into making a successful, film, or television, anything behind the camera. But I just went online and I was just looking for for people, and I was starting to send emails out to people, you know, and I happened to come across this ad, which was just a more structured, you know, like streamlined version of what I was looking for, and it was this guy who, his name is Jack Brand, an actor named Jack Brand, and he was starting to basically put a group of filmmakers together, you know, and offer some sort of film consortium, and he found a space that another guy owned downtown LA, and we basically had a couple of meetings, and our whole goal was to essentially do what I like I said, what I was looking to do was just find a group of people, a pool of people, a community, and make film, you know, and it was, like I said, it was just sort of serendipitous that I found that, and you know, I attached myself to it, and you know, I went to a couple meetings, and there was a guy by the name of Kurt Comstock, who's he's actually an inventor. You know, we've been to a studio where we filmed half the movie, and the guy's got toys all over the place. It was the, you know, sort of felt like I was a kid. You know, he had like bicycles, like and all sorts of weird, wacky inventions. Some, you know, most of which I had actually seen before. You know, he's, you know, telling us stories about how some of these inventions he'd send out, and people would basically switch the name, change like a small little thing, and steal his idea. It's crazy, but anyway,
Right.
That's another story.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, he was the most driven person in the group as far as wanting to get stuff done, and because what they wanted to do was they didn't want to move forward till everything was perfect, you know, and I think, you know, there were a lot of us there, myself included, who, you know, we were just like, we just want to work. Let's just do something, you know.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be right and perfect, and I ended up getting pulled away, you know, on other films and other things that I was busy with at the time. But you know, I forgot how it happened. But Kurt approached me about, you know, doing the film, and yeah, we you know, I ended up doing the film, and it's a fun little, you know, sci-fi piece, and he got it into a couple festivals as well. And I know that's available online, definitely, for sure. I think it's on. You watch it through IMDb, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was that. I mean, he used some of his inventions and you know, some of the aliens and stuff that he had,
Right.
to sort of you know, play the other characters in the movie, and you know, it's a quirky little film. I mean, you know, when you watch it, you know, you get that it's not the biggest budget, and it's not done you know, extremely well, but it was a nice lesson in you know, just wanting to do something and getting it done.
Right on.
And learning from that, you know.
Exactly. Well, the next one I'm going to put on the brakes here. It's not a horror. It's actually a Christian movie drama that you know, you don't have to be a horror fan. Well, I take it back. Just because I like horror doesn't mean I don't like other things as well. This next one is called I Am in 2010. It's a drama directed by John Ward. Now, if you want, you can explain to listeners about this one.
Yeah, an acting class that I was a part of, a studio out here, an acting coach. One of the actors in it as well. You know, we became good friends. His name was Stefan, and he ended up working. He had worked with John before, and they I guess John got funding to do this film. At the time, it was called. It was a series, I think, more than a film. It was called like Liquid, and basically it was there was a series of vignettes that were referencing the Ten Commandments.
Okay.
And you know, but it took place here in LA, and I played an officer in one of the vignettes. You know, police officer who comes to the house of a woman who's stalking another gentleman, you know, and that sort of plays out in that vignette, and I take her, you know, she's obviously violated, you know, restraining orders and all sorts of crazy psycho stuff, but they you know, they shot it, they had a lot of good people and good resources to use, and it looked great, and at the time, Kirk Cameron came out with his, I think it was called Fire something. I think it's Fireproof, but it did really well. I think it got a little release across the country and earned, you know, a lot of money, and so the sort of Christian genre was looking for its next hit, and these people, you know, who were running I Am, or what's become I Am, they were shopping it around, or I don't know exactly the whole story, but basically they got, I think it was Fox, or a division of Fox, interested in it, and what they wanted to do was take what they'd already shot, the 10 stories, the 10 little vignettes, and sort of merge them into one seamless piece, sort of a crash, tying the stories together and, intertwining them all or whatnot. So we had to go back and shoot some additional stuff to make that work, and that's sort of how it ended up, being pushed out the door. And from what I understand, it's been doing great. It's been screening across the country. I know there was a couple spots in Canada and overseas. I mean, it got to a point where they're now considering it like a global release. Whatever that means. It could be one country, and I guess it's considered now global. But overall, I think it's doing really well, and I've yet to see that version of the film. I saw, the first original version, which was, one story after the next, but it's done really well, and yeah, it's a Christian film, but I think what was appealing at the time to whoever it was that picked it up was that it wasn't really pushing that, or it wasn't really preaching, you know what I mean? It was a story that was, it was all to the story, and if you'd known the background of it, you could make the connection, but it wasn't really about that. So it appealed to, it was supposed to appeal more to the masses. So, in that sense. And like I said, I'm really excited to see it. I haven't yet had the chance to check it out, but I hear it's doing well.
I think I'm going to check it out myself.
I think it's good that you brought it up. It's a good film to balance out all the gore and
I know
that we're all too familiar with at this point, huh?
You got it. Well, the next one, I think I might have read this on Facebook, and it's called Hostile Encounter in 2010. It's directed by our buddy Eric England, written by our buddy Eric England, and it also, of course, it stars you. Do you want to give the listeners an idea of what this movie's about? Yeah, sure. It's sort of weird the way everything sort of panned out, but Eric and I met when he was still in LA Film School. He was doing his thesis project, and I was of course going through and submitting for auditions and whatnot, and on different projects, and I saw there was a character named Ace in this short film called Clown Town. And I read the description of the character, and he's kind of like like a jock, and it seemed like a really really fun role, and of course the guy's name was Ace, so I submitted, and I wrote something funny in the notes, like this role was written for me, you have to let me come in and read it for you, something like that, and it's funny because I remember one of the I don't want to say running joke, you probably won't find it funny if you're listening, Eric, I apologize, but one of the funny things I remember about the whole experience from the beginning was I was tied up in a couple of other things at the time, and it was kind of getting a little crazy, and I realized I was going to have to let something go because I had two things sort of I had to be in two places at once, and it wasn't going to work out. And I'd gotten a script for Clown Town, and it was fun, little horror short, but I remember there were a few typos in the script, and I remember thinking to myself then, like, oh man, things are going, it's crazy right now. I'm going to be, spreading myself way thin, and here's this script that there's typos all in, and I was like, well, if the guy couldn't take time to read and fix this, who knows how this is going to go, So right.
It's one of those small little lessons, but I actually did. I called Eric up and I told him, I was like, look, I was very honest. I'm not about the typos, but I was honest, and I said, things are getting a little crazy, and I might have to back out of this project. Unfortunately, he just fought. He was like, look, I'll make it work. I just need you for a couple hours, blah blah blah. So we worked it out. I showed up, and I saw they were shooting on film, and right away I was like, okay, well these guys, they have to know what they're doing when they're shooting on film, right?
Right.
So it actually ended up being one of the best pieces of footage that I have on my reel. Every time someone sees it, they're like, what is this from? And that's when I met Eric, who's, I mean, at the time, I was probably, I don't even think he was 20 yet, maybe 19.
Right.
And I just realized this kid, he knew what he was doing. I saw it right away. And like I said, earlier, you want to meet people and continue to grow with people. And I just knew right away, like, Eric was one of those people, you know, that he was part of the tribe, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay, this is going to be somebody that I'm going to work with again. And, you know, the film turned out great. We were talking about this the other day. I don't know the reason I'm going to bring it up. I think it's funny, but it was a student film, and he got, you know, he had nudity in it. You got a girl to go topless in it. Ironically, so, you know, it satisfied all the horror fans, I'm sure. But no, but you know, like I said, I just knew he knew what he was doing. You know, and from talking to him about his passion for horror. I mean, Eric's, you know, Eric's going to be a huge horror director. You know what I mean? And he's also got the capacity to do and to write for all sorts of genres. He's a great storyteller, but you know, horror's his baby. That's what he, you know, that's what he knows and that's what he loves. And it was very clear to me at that point.
Right.
So that was that, and then, you know, I kept in contact with him after the film was done, and, you know, just always dropping notes and stuff just to say hi and see what was going on. And at the time, he had mentioned this Madison County movie to me, and I think I was actually the first person to read it. He sent it to me, and I sent him, you know, my thoughts, because he wanted me to be honest, and I sent him my thoughts just basically as an actor and what I thought as far as certain things, and that was that. You know, he had a couple of different producing teams, you know, I think maybe 2 or 3 before we came on board that it was supposed to go with, and it never did. But one of the last times, you know, when it finally fell through, one of the last times, you know, I guess Eric was fed up, and he was like, you know, screw it, I'm going to do my own thing. And he saved up some money, and he wrote a script with me in mind. And what's funny is he said it was sort of inspired because I like to video a lot. Like, I'll take my phone and I'll video, like, random things. You know, if you've seen my Facebook lately when I was in Jersey, I just like to document little things, you know. And he said he came up with the idea based off of all these videos that I would post just about my life, you know. And he came up with the story for Hostile Encounter, which was Trevor White, who I play, who, you know, you see me in a relationship with, you know, with my girlfriend, and just, I get a camera for the first time, and I'm just sort of documenting it. You know, it's first person. I'm, you know, POV film. I'm holding the whole thing, and basically, what ends up happening is you know, he ends up going through some tough times with his girlfriend, and as a result wants to, you know, sort of clear his thoughts, and you know, I go out on a sort of a soul searching adventure, you know, and a little trip across the country, and I end up, you know, camping, and basically there are these 2 hunters, these guys that, you know, that live in the woods sort of, who I come across who are just not friendly. Right. We'll just say that. And basically you end up seeing, you know, witnessing through the eyes of I guess Trevor, you know, what I'm looking at, what becomes a fight for his life, you know. And we shot that, and it was very small, bare bones. There was Nick Bellinger was one of the other producers on it with Eric. They were the 2 sort of running it, and he hired Daniel to DP the film because they'd gone to school together. And then then it was myself, and then there was a costumer, and that was it, you know. Right. And we did this thing in Arkansas, you know, Eric's home state, using his resources and stuff, and that's when Daniel and I met, and we, you know, we became close. You know, we were sort of bunking together and talking about a lot of stuff. And then that was in post production. It's actually still in post production, but we were in post for that when Daniel came to Eric and said, you know, I have some money for a film. You know, I want to read some of your scripts, and let's see. You know, because he saw what Eric was able to do in Hostile Encounter with a very small budget. And like I said, you know, it's very clear Eric's a good storyteller, and he's a director everyone's going to know, you know, in a couple of years. And Daniel knew that. And Daniel comes from a family who they're business, you know, they're business people. You know, his parents and all of his family, you know, they run different businesses and stuff like that. So Daniel knew how to go about getting the money, but he's the business side of it, and he knows the commercial too. We always joke, like, the 3 of us, you know, Eric's the creative, you know, obviously the creator of it all. Daniel holds down the fort of you know, the business side and you know, what's going to sell, for, you know, for commercial appeal, and I'm the guy in the middle battling out to keep it all balanced, you know. Right. But so that's sort of how Madison County, was born as a result of Hostile Encounter, and it's funny, like I said, because Madison County, we're now further along in the process with Madison than we are at Hostile. We've just passed, because in Hostile we're finishing up with our sound and our mixing and stuff like that. It's a very different beast, but yeah, it was all a result of our baby, Hostile Encounter, and it's a great film. I mean, we're all really excited to actually get it out there, because it was it's the first time where you have an antagonist in or at least one of the first times, from what I can remember, in films that I know, where in a POV film like that, it's not a supernatural element, or you know what I mean. It's a human being. It's a human being. So it's real. It's real in a lot of ways, and it's very scary. And everyone we showed it to sort of is drawn into the realism of it early on. So when shit hits the fan, so to speak, you're really feeling for I guess for the characters and for the situation. But yeah, Hostile Encounter. I mean, we're sort of we've actually had a couple people contact us for who've seen it, or at least have seen posted on IMDb and some of the other things. And with Madison County, I mean, it's a little early to say, but we may be looking to do sort of a 2-picture deal with Hostile Encounter. I mean, who knows? We've joked about sort of releasing it as a special feature on a DVD, but there's actually enough interest in Hostile Encounter alone to sell it on its own. Yeah, we've already got we got into one festival, and in the style of film, like I said, it lends itself. It sort of walks that line of an experimental film, and just a sort of a normal, I don't want to say narrative film, but just I guess you'd call it cinema verite, right?
Right.
But yeah, that was our first baby, all of us working on it together, and it led to where we are today with with Madison County.
Well, it's like I told you earlier. I told you about the interviews that I've done, that I've decided to run 2 of them, run it on a podcast site and run it on a blog. And the funny thing about it is, every one that I transferred over, obviously it was planned while I was doing the editing and all. And I was listening to the Eric England interview. And now this goes way back 4 months. This is just before you guys started filming Madison County. And what was so neat about that is people actually had a chance to hear partially what the movie's going to be about before he's even started filming. And that's the cool part about that interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as I'm saying,
for sure. I mean, yeah. I remember being in the car when we're driving to our one of our first locations, and Eric's on the phone, and we're like, "Who are you talking to? Get off the phone," and he ended up stepping outside, and what we ended up finding out was that he was on the phone with you, and there was this interview. And what's funny? I was talking about this yesterday. I have still yet to hear Eric's initial interview with you, because we were filming out there, and we didn't really have great access to internet, and
right.
That was the beginning of our month out there, and we came back, and it just sort of at that point everything else got piled over it. So I actually have to go back and listen to it, and I think both Daniel and Eric would like to get a new interview with you at some point.
Yes.
I don't think Eric knew what to expect, but it's funny you mentioned your site with the movie review. That's where we are. And then once we were done with the picture launch, we had basically right now, like full force, everyone's working on it except Eric, Daniel, and I directly right now, and
right.
Levi, who is our editor and our champ in the editing room. But our sound team, we're working with Black Box, who they worked on a bunch of a bunch of stuff with Rob Hall. They worked on they worked on his new Chrome Skull movie, and then Laid to Rest, and I think it's a FearNet series, and they're great. They're working on that right now.
Right.
Mixing, we have our composer Igor Nemirovsky, who's in the lab, and he actually did he did all of the music on our teaser trailer that you see, and that's how we met. I ended up finding Igor through Lee, who directed The Nightlife, who Igor also scored. So there you see. I mean, you work with people and you end up working with them again. But
yep.
So those two guys are working on everything sound related right now. and our trailer is being cut by Jake York, who's amazing, and you've probably seen some of his work before. I mean, he did stuff for Paranormal Activity. I think he did the international trailer for that, and domestic trailer for History of Violence and Zombieland. I mean, he's a big gun, and he's cutting our trailer right now as we speak. So within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be debuting a couple special things between our poster and some marketing stuff, and of course our trailer. And then once that's up, that's when the real business kicks in. You know what I mean?
Right.
The art sort of got its legs and had its chance, and now we have to put on the business caps and suits and ties and start doing all that. But it's been great. I mean, we've had a lot of interest so far from various distribution companies, and it sort of is a weird thing for the three of us to weird position for us to be in, because just a year ago we were shooting Hostile Encounter. I mean, it's our second feature in less than a year, which is great. It's really we're young filmmakers. We're lucky to be in this position. Anybody's lucky to be in this position. So we all had a great time with it, and I think that sort of translated and carried over into everyone involved with it. I mean, everyone's really pumped. Like our sound team, they sat down with Eric the other day, and they'd watched the film, an earlier version, but I think we realized that they didn't really watch the whole thing because they were shooting late to rest. So it was like, they'd watch 10 minutes tonight, and then tomorrow another 20 minutes. So when we sat down, Eric sat down with them a couple of weeks ago and watched the newer version of the film, and they were just blown away, really excited. And these are guys that have worked on a lot of horror things before, and they had a lot of great things to say. And I think it sort of, creatively, it sort of sparked a little fire under everyone, behind there, because, we realized that we always said, and I always told Eric and Daniel, I said, if we shoot half, if we shoot half a good movie as what we have on the page, we're going to be in great shape, and we beyond super, we beyond exceeded our expectations, with that. So
right.
We're as a rough cut, the film plays great, and everything's only just going to help it, and so we're excited to see where we go with it.
Good deal, because I'm still waiting. I mean, I'm excited to see how this turns out, because like Resurrection County came across my table by surprise, and that's how I got involved in this. And when I watch Resurrection County, if anybody hasn't seen it, please do, because, there's nothing better than watching a movie that's in the woods. There's nothing better than weirdo people in the woods, and you never know what's going to come next. And that's what's most exciting, I think a lot of fans are for waiting for Madison County, is because, when you see teasers like pictures, and it's just going to build it up. And like I said before, this thing's going to explode. I think once it gets picked up and moved on, I think it's going to be huge.
Absolutely, and we are really introducing a unique and just scary character in Damien. Slasher fans, and there's a new face in horror. I mean, it's been said before, it's cliche, but I mean, there's nothing really. There's no other simpler way for me to put it when it's as true as it is.
Right.
You're going to be really excited what you see with Damien, and then just the story of what's being told in Madison County, and with us shooting out in Arkansas, and I mean, I have to give a huge thank you to Arkansas as a whole, just because they really embraced us. Everyone, where we were filming in Madison County, in certain parts, and it was interesting, the response that we got, because at times it would be really positive and encouraging, and at other times you would think that we wrote this and we were filming it. You know what I mean? Like, these people were scary. They were not for us being out there. But by the time we finished, I think everyone really came around to it and understood that we weren't there to sort of paint a picture about Madison County, the real Madison County. We were telling a story, and this is movie making, and we take liberties, but us being there, enabled us to tell a story in a way that we didn't have to be in a sound stage or shooting in Calabasas here in California to fake it, and that translate, and it's scary and it's beautiful at the same time, because I think what sort of what Coley said in his interview about just Arkansas in general, it's an awesome contrast, because it's a beautiful scenery, but it's contrasted with very horrific events,
Right.
So it looks great, and the people, like I said, of Arkansas were very gracious and helped us beyond belief, and we also had some horrific moments out there as well, where I think Coley touched on, and I'm sure Natalie Sheets will. When you speak to her, which I'll leave that to them, because they'll be able to tell the story better than I could. But,
and Joanna too.
Right. Joanna. Well, Joanna's a weakling, so she shouldn't be interviewed, just because she won't understand how to. No, I'm just kidding. I bust her shot. But no, yeah, it was great out there, and everyone from the crew to the people feeding us, everyone was just incredible to work with, and we're all really excited, man. We have something really special, and I think everyone that sees it is really going to be in for a treat, and I just hope it translates to everyone else the way that it has been for everyone who's seen it at this point.
Okay, well, before we go any farther, I got to bring this up because I think, let's put it this way, listeners, you probably heard this before, but whatever you do, don't invite Ace to your house for a cookout, because he might blow it up. Now, I've heard it from Matt, and then Coley Berry told his...
No, it's Coley. You said Coley.
Oh, yeah, well, I can't remember. But he gave his interpretation of it. Now, let's hear what you have to say for yourself.
All right. I just want to know how I got thrown into this mix here, and it's become sort of this running gag with Ace Marrero name attached here.
Are you getting sensitive?
All I know... Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, okay, don't.
All I know is I showed up to cook. Not to cook, I'm sorry. Daniel and I, we got some food, some additional food, and I remember asking Coley, I was like, we're going to get some food. Do you mind heating up the grill and cooking some of what we have here, the burgers and stuff? And I think, Coley did a great job of explaining the quality of the meat and what he did leading up to that point. Now, I came home with Daniel, and we had, obviously there's lots of barbecue options in Arkansas, and we came home with some barbecue and some sausage. And at that point, Coley and Matt, were manning the grill nicely, and I think Matt was a few hairs short from a couple of high flames.
Wait a minute here. Wait, Matt? Oh,
Matt,
okay.
I think. I mean, I don't know.
I know.
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I know Matt was recording at one point, but he also. I thought he was on the grill. I thought he and Coley were on the grill. I don't know. I'm not. Matt, if you're listening, I don't remember, man. I mean, I think I inhaled too much fumes from the grill. But all I remember is I heard that there were flames shooting out. I was not there for it personally, for myself. I was there post-flame, post-backdraft, post-whatever you want to call it, and I was simply grilling some sausages. And I think that's what Matt caught on tape, and it was sort of interpreted that I was the one that was, Emerald Lagasse, I don't know what was going on over there, but it was not me.
Snake in the grass,
anyway.
huh? Matt the snake, huh?
I don't know what happened there, but I think the safest thing to say about that whole situation, and Coley, Coley did say this, so I'll just repeat that, is that the food was good. Everyone loved my sausage when it was said and done, and that sounds horrible, but everyone loved the food, and they're thankful to eat. That was the first time that they were eating in a week, so I think everybody was happy about that.
Yeah, I was just having some fun with it,
Yeah, and it was good because because of that we ended up writing in what's now become like one of our biggest kill scenes in the movie, you know, which I think Matt touched on, which was the flying spatulas. It's you've never seen anything like this. I guarantee you, all the movies that you've reviewed and you've seen, when you have a character flinging flaming spatulas to initiate a kill in a horror movie, it's
interesting.
This is going to set some new standards in filmmaking, let me tell you.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, bring up that I haven't mentioned?
No, I mean, I thank you for taking the time to interview all of us. Everyone, I'm sure, will be happy to come on and share their side of the story, the grill. But anyway, I'm excited excited for the movie. 2011 is going to be a big year for me, and a big part of that obviously is Madison County. I had the fortune of being selected as one of 12 actors, and I think six guys in Los Angeles out of like 7,000 actors to take part in an ABC showcase, and they run every year, and it's sort of a game changer for me. You know, I was able to meet and work with top ABC execs, and I've gone in already for a lot of huge projects and been up for some cool roles. And with pilot season approaching, it's going to be an exciting time for to be out there auditioning for new projects, and of course getting Madison County off the ground, and it's all funny. It's all funny how it all ties in, because through that I've met other people who know someone else that's worked on Madison County. One of the ABC execs, we had a night out one night, and Joanna was like, "Oh, I met this person. You know her through ABC?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how did you meet her?" And she had just done a show, and the exec from ABC was talking to her about the showcase, and she's like, "Oh, I know somebody in it," and it was me, and it's just the world becomes smaller.
Yep.
But it's going to be it's a very, very big year ahead of us here for Madison County and then for myself, which I'm really excited about, and that's that. I just wish everybody best of luck who worked on the film, and happy, healthy year, and I'm just kind of I'm still just kind of pissed right now that my Giants lost today, man. Or not lost, but they're not in the playoffs thanks to the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, well, the Bears are frauds anyways, but
yeah. Well, I mean, you got the Steelers, right?
Yeah, that's right, baby. Hey,
right.
I want to edit this part out, but I want to talk to you real quick off the air, so okay?
Sure.
So, all right, hold on a minute. We'll pause a little bit so I can edit it out.
Okay.
All right, well, Ace, I want to thank you for coming on, taking some time for my podcast. And,
absolutely. It's been fun.
All I'm saying is the grill thing was, I don't care. It was just fun to
no. We're all,
around.
Hey, please, believe me. None of us, I mean, you have to realize, Jason, we're filmmakers. Like, I mean, obviously I think you get a sense of who I am, from what you see on Facebook and us from talking. And I don't take myself seriously at all, like not too serious. And the thing is, we're all, everybody that I've worked with on the film, that was a big part of the, it probably would be something cool to say, but like, that was a big part of what we were doing with the film. It wasn't always about finding, not only the best person for the job, but people that we can be around with, for a month.
Right.
And I think I would say probably 97% we did that. But no, no one here is getting bent out of shape. We all find it funny, and like I said, we all get it, and I mean, you can't look down upon that. That's what life is about, making relationships and meeting people, and I.
But anyways, I do appreciate you coming on. It was fun talking. Sorry about your Giants.
Oh no worries. Hey, like I said, we finally got it up, and I look forward to listening to it and throwing it up on the page.
I'll be having it up within, I would say it's 6:46 in California, right?
Yeah.
So I would say probably within an hour I'll have it up.
Okay, cool.
All right, Ace. Thank you. Take care.
All right, take care. We'll talk soon.
Yep. See ya. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey,
Right.
I want to edit this part out, but I want to talk to you real quick off the air. So okay.
Sure.
So, all right, hold on a minute. We'll pause a little bit so I can edit it out.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got the Steelers, right?
Yeah, that's right, baby. Hey,
right.
I want to edit this part out, but I want to talk to you real quick off the air. So okay.
Sure.
So, all right, hold on a minute. We'll pause a little bit so I can edit it out.
Okay.